Bum, bum, bum. What is up? Yo, yo, yo. Random stream. Let's have some fun. Let's turn this down a little bit. My Christmas tree is just barely in the frame of my camera. It's hilarious. How is everyone doing? Totally random time to stream, but you know what? Why not? Let's pop a Red Bull for funsies. Give everybody else a couple minutes to get in here. How's everyone doing? It'll probably be a really chill stream. I know it's late. I wanted to do it earlier, but I don't know. I was playing Marvel Rivals, to be completely honest with you, and helping Reagan clean up. So I wanted to do it right when the agent came out, but got stuck playing some video games. I actually want to at some point maybe stream some games, like video games. I used to do that a decent amount, but I don't know. I'm so bad. I'm actually decent at talking when it's like card game stuff, like while on stream. But when I'm playing games, like I'm so locked in, I feel like I'm horrible at streaming and talking at the same time, to be completely honest with you. We got Arachne Marionette. I have to pull up some notes here because I had some from Discord that I actually sent my buddy Lucas. Because there's a lot we could say about these, right? It's really like, where do you want to start type thing. There's so much we don't know, and I'm really enjoying how that they are doing the releases for this over the last set. Not that Rosette was bad or anything, but releasing like the big ticket stuff, but not giving the meat and potatoes of how it's actually going to work on like a micro level is actually super cool. Because you get the hype of like the cool cards without like giving away the set, which I think is really cool. Yeah, so I guess the first thing, while people are trickling in here, is this is the last time I think I haven't done a video since, let's see, we did a video on Black Widow, and then I did a video on, well, it was the second agent, right? Which was Tarantula, right? That was the other one I did. And I haven't done a video since, so we can go over those. Yeah, Tarantula was the last one I did. Okay. So, like we said last time, Tarantula's a pretty good card. The other ones, Funnel Web, we haven't gone over. Discard. I guess we'll go in the newest one. That's the ones people have talked about. Arachne Trapdoor is like super interesting. When you become this, you search your deck for a card, banish it face down, then shuffle. If it's a trap, you may play it until the start of your next turn. So one, this shows that there's probably going to be trap support, right? Like that's the obvious. What's up, Maximum? How you doing, my friend? There's probably going to be trap support in this set. Right now, the only traps that we have, if people are not aware, I'll go to my makeshift Arachne list. That means absolutely nothing. It's just to have cards put in places. We have Frailty Trap, Inertia Trap, and then Blood Rot Trap. Those are the only assassin traps that we have currently, and they're all like really, they're all really situational, right? Like Blood Rot Trap cares about reactions. Lower my seat a little bit. Blood Rot Trap cares about reactions. Frailty Trap cares about go again. Inertia Trap cares about stuff greater than its space. So it's a very interesting one. One that shows that I think we're going to get some trap support, but also I think that, let me turn that music down a little bit. My brain is like not wanting to function. I'm sure it's a little loud for y'all too. One, I think we're going to get some trap support, but two, it's a really interesting card because I do like the diversity of deck building that you could do with it. The two, not even problems, but the two questions I want answered are, one, are we going to get traps that are main boarded? Like traps that are not side grade cards, right? Like you don't necessarily want to have Frailty Trap in every matchup, right? Like if I'm playing against a Verdance or a Florian or a Guardian, typically, right, unless you're playing like a really aggro version, or just a hero that doesn't care about Go Again, right? Like this is basically a textless 3-block. Same thing with Inertia Trap. If you're playing against just like a Go wide aggro deck that maybe doesn't buff their attacks, Inertia Trap, in my opinion, Inertia Trap's the most useful one, surprisingly, most of the time. And then Blood Art Trap is super situational, right? Like this is really good in a Warrior. That's about it. But so hopefully we get some main board traps that are just like good in most matchups. I don't know if we'll end up getting that or not. Maybe we'll get traps like banish cards from top of deck or cards that make your opponent lose life somehow. I think that would be really, really cool. The other kind of weird thing with this Demi Hero that I find interesting is like, so the way Marionette works, most people are aware, but just in case, at the beginning of your end phase, if an opponent is marked, you become a random agent of chaos. So in order to turn your boss, can't wait to learn the game since Syndra is coming out. Grand Archive got some interesting Fire Asana pieces revealed as well. Yeah, no, Asana is super fun. That's one of my favorite decks in that game. It's Dylan. What's up, Dylan? Yeah, Syndra is gonna be super fun. It's gonna be exciting to see what the Draconic stuff says. But yeah, you're gonna have to mark your opponent to then change into Trapdoor, which basically means like, if not all the time, but I'm assuming sometimes when you mark your opponent but you don't complete your mark during that turn, that means they probably blocked out or they blocked a significant amount, right? So that trap that you're going to get might not be as useful because they might be on like a 2-card hand, right? So like, or 2 or 3 card hand, and then, yes, you get an extra defensive piece. A card's always great to have, but it doesn't really help you push the tempo when maybe you just gained it by making them give up cards, right? Like in just an arbitrary situation, you have a full 4-card hand and you don't have a way to give Go Again. You mark your opponent through like a dagger, let's just say. Let's hope. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then you attack with the 0 for 4 on hit Go Again. They block it with 2 cards. You have no way to react to it. And then you move to end, you arsenal a card, and you have a 5-card hand, and you transform into this before you arsenal, and then you go get that trap, banish it face down. So you have a pseudo 6-card hand, right? 1 being something you want to use on their turn, but they only have 2 cards. So like, it could be good, but in that situation, I'd rather be, one of these 4 because I want to get that +3 in order to start pushing tempo, right? I made them give up 2 to 3 cards from hand, but now I'm kind of going into a more defensive posture. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. I'm not saying it's bad. We just don't have the meat and potatoes of the deck yet. I hope we get a trap that marks a hero so we can set up for the next agent. That is true. That'd be nice. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm here for it. What's up, Quinn? What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? The Arachne Brood is looking sweet and really liking Retrace the Past for Katsu as well. Yeah, Retrace the Past. I've been having fun with that maximum. I've been going pretty hard with that card. I think Katsu is definitely much better spot. Is it in a meta defining spot? Heck no, but it's definitely a better deck. But yeah, so I have to see how this is. The one thing about this card that I want people to pay attention to that I think is very interesting is the first part of the text. It says, when you become this, you may search your deck for a card. Banish it face down. Then shuffle. If it's a trap, you may play it until the start of your next turn. Why I think that's interesting is you don't show your opponent, you banish it face down. So I guess your opponent doesn't know if you have a trap or not, so I guess that could be why they worded it that way. But my other hope, it's kind of a pipe dream, is that there's somehow this Arachne is going to be able to play cards from their own banish. Now, I know it's a Runeblade thing, it's a Blood Debt thing, and so it's a very unlikely that they will do that, but the way this is worded, you could just banish, I'm just going to say Ram card, leave no witnesses, and then maybe find a way to play it later from your banish zone, and your opponent doesn't know what it is. That would be insanely powerful, and I think a little bit too powerful for Assassin, so I won't be surprised if that never happens. However, just a thought. The card does let you bluff, Thomas. I do agree. That's probably the reason they worded it the way they did, but a man can dream, So yeah, I like Trapdoor. It's very interesting because if you mark your opponent in more times than not, but you don't hit, that means you made them give up some cards unless there's ways to mark consistently without, with just passing. But in that case, like, why would you do that? Yo, 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 whoever just subbed or followed, I appreciate you. Why is my stuff not on? I apologize, whoever that was. I have no way of checking that either. Can I see who that was? Oh, that's so annoying. Whoever that was, let me know in chat if you subbed or followed. I appreciate you. Sorry I missed that. My subs were off. But yeah, it's a very interesting one. There are ones we haven't covered on the channel yet, and I'll kind of go over them really quickly. Arachne Funnel Web's really cool. Discard an assassin card. Target assassin attack gets +3 if it has stealth when it hits a hero. Banish a card from their arsenal. Some people are not a fan of this card, and I don't know why. It's Leave No Witnesses on a stick, and it basically, you know, if I throw a Desires of Flesh out there, you know, for 3/3 with a card in hand, this Desires of Flesh is now minimum for the most part, because you're going to have so many assassin cards in your deck unless you're bluffing, which you could. But it's a 6 power, right? Like, this is a 6 power on hit, banish a card from their deck, potentially gain a life. Like, that's the worst it is. And the best is it banishes their arsenal. And people are like, well, they'll see it going into their turn, so they'll just try to not have an arsenal. Well, that's like, I don't know. That's kind of a bad way to look at it, in my opinion, because one, some heroes can't utilize their entire hand properly, and they have to be forced to arsenal, or you force them to not arsenal, which is good for you. And if you do force them to dump their hand, then that's really good for you as an assassin, because a lot of people like to arsenal defense reactions against you, or arsenal key power pieces to be able to push through your blocks. So just the threat of this is enough, in my opinion. Also, the +3 on almost all of these, except for Trapdoor and, Tarantula still has it too. The +3 effect is so powerful. Like, these stealth cards are now all 2-card 6s on hit, do what they do, right? Like, Bonds of Attraction's a 2-card 6. You know, Arzar Bai, 2-card 6. Like, you just, you know, and then you have the blues, like Persuasive Prognosis is a 2-card 4 now. Like, you have to be able to cover this up with a D-React, or give 2 cards. Like, it's just so good, and I'm really excited about it. This is the one that everyone's like talking about, right? Arachne Orb Weaver. I'm not even going to try to pronounce these names. I'm sorry if I butcher this, because I know I'm going to. Graphene Chelicera. Graphene is like a substance that, like, this is like a substance that is like super hard to make. It's like really, really strong. Or it's like a it's a substance I'm just put with. And then the Chelicera is the best way I could, Chelicera, however you pronounce it. This is a spider fang, basically. It's like a spider claw. It's like their teeth. And there's 3 different types of it, I think 3 or 4 different types of it in real life. So basically this is like really strong spider claw. Really strong spider fang. So it says that they cost you 1 less to activate, which means it's probably a weapon. We can almost assume that it's the dagger. Once per turn instant, discard an assassin card, equip one of them, equip a token version of it. Your next attack with stealth gets +3. So I think this is the way I look at it. I think that the dagger, the name of this is our dagger, basically. This very hard to pronounce word, 2 words, is the dagger. And I'm pretty sure it's going to come in token and non-token rarity, similar to Hyperdriver. Arachne Pinocchio, right? They did let new play opponents banish blue, so there's a chance. It's true, Thomas. I imagine it to make a solid 2-3 card minimum mini package of traps. Oh, yeah, there'll definitely be traps in the set for sure. If they refuse to arsenal, then it's a good thing. They're still down a card. Exactly, Nova. Exactly. Traps seem similar to secrets in Hearthstone, in which they have been points where there's only one good choice. True. Spider's Bite. I sleep. Calicera. Thank you, Nova. I appreciate it. I'm so bad at pronouncing stuff. Like, it's a problem. Real shit, right? Real shit. No. So this is probably our dagger. When we have this, it costs 1 less to activate. I'm assuming it's going to be a 2-cost dagger. It's usually the run of the mill. So if it's 1-cost daggers, right, you can, pitch a yellow and freaking swing both, which is really nice. But I do think it's going to be our dagger, and our dagger is going to come in common rarity and token rarity, similar to how Hyperdriver does for mech. But giving things +3, being able to, swing a dagger for 1, flick the second dagger, then discard then a swing with another attack, discard an assassin card, bring a token dagger back in that empty slot that you just flicked, while also giving your attack +3. You can get some pretty good value there. I think that's really, really cool. I'm really excited to see what the dagger does, right? Which here am I getting me? Where are you getting me first? What do you mean by that? Which here are you getting me first? What? No, I got you all the angels. You have to get me all the Arachne demi-heroes now. She's shaking her head. Reagan's typing in chat, and she's in the other room behind me. No, y'all chat, hold her accountable. I got all of the Prism angels for her through boxes and boxes, and then eventually just single orders. So now it's her turn to get me the Arachne Marvel demi-heroes. So it is what it is. If he wanted to, he would. Yeah, okay. This one's really cool. And then this one I think is my favorite from an art perspective. Arachne Redback just looks sick. Once per turn attack reaction, discard an assassin card. Target assassin attack gets +3. If it has stealth, it gets go again. There is no on-hit go again. It just gets go again. This is really, really cool. Now, this is a little bit interesting because you have to get rid of a card to give it go again. So if you transform into this, unless you just draw a bad hand, which is possible, or not an ideal hand for this ability, you're going to want to hold cards because you're going to want at least a 3-card hand with this, right? Like being able to swing with a 0 for 3 stealth, discard a card, make it a 0 for 6 go again, and then swing with another stealth, or maybe swing with a leave no witnesses or a codex, whatever have you, right? So you're going to want at least a 3-card hand with this agent, or this, agent. So it's a little bit interesting. This one out of all 6 is actually my least favorite, simply because what it requires to work, to function, because its ability basically is just getting the +3 if you only have a 2-card hand. We bought 17 boxes of Dust Till Dawn. He probably will double that for Hunted. Oh, no. I'm going to buy 1 case of Hunted, and if whatever Marvels I don't pull, I'm just going to buy. I'm just going to buy. Do we know how the random demi-hero selection be handled? It's a D6? Yeah, it's a D6. It's got to be random, Dylan, so it's most likely going to be D6. What's up?
He's lying. He will buy all the boxes.
Nope. I'm not. I'm going to buy a case, maybe 2. Tops, and then I'm just going to buy my Marvel because I don't care about Syndra or Fang in this at all.
Guys, we'll check in January, and I'll let you know how many cases.
It's going to be 1 case, and then I'm going to buy because these Marvels are going to be like 70 a piece, easy. Like a box a piece, basically. So then there's 6 of them. Plus, I'm going to want this Marvel, which is going to be like $250 minimum. I would say 200 because it's assassin tax. So you're looking at like probably $400 worth of Marvels right there. I would guess joking. Maybe 500.
I want a tattoo of that so bad.
This is Reagan's favorite one, and I don't know why. It's kind of scary a little bit, y'all. I'm not going to lie to you.
What?
Out of all the ones for you, like Reagan's not a girly girl, but she's also not like complete tomboy. She like falls in the middle. So for her, this to be like, I always thought this would be your favorite for sure. Because you like femme fatale.
So it's like
stuff like that.
It's the standard. Like everybody loves that card. It's totally understandable. But like, I don't know, tarantula.
This is my favorite one.
I had a tarantula growing up, so maybe that's why.
Drop a stack on it. I know, no, it's probably going to cost a stack.
I'll do it.
I know.
I know.
5 cases. No, it's for real. Like, all jokes aside, I'm going to do a case, maybe 2, just because I enjoy opening new sets, and then I'm just going to buy the Marvels, because I could give 2 shits about Syndra or Fang in this set. And it's not a disrespect or like negativity to how the heroes are. I care about Arachne. That's why I like Tarantula. It's very scary. Yeah, the art in these is sick. Tarantula. Arachne Trapdoor is cool too. It's got the Metrics vibes.
Arachne Trapdoor is my least favorite.
This is your least favorite?
Mm-hmm.
It's got Cyberpunk.
It reminds me too much of Pike in that one skin he has from League, and I hate Pike, so I don't
Pike
like it.
is annoying in League. I will admit. This is my favorite art, period. This is the young version of Arachne. What would you see? I love that artwork.
He looks like a Fortnite character, and I mean this in the like nicest way.
Doesn't look like a Fortnite character.
He looks like a Fortnite skin.
No one in Fortnite looks that evil.
No. I mean, like, that specific pose looks like something in Fortnite.
I don't get that. It makes sense in your head. Reagan's bored, if you can't tell. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, super excited about this. Kind of some of the notes I wanted to bring up and just talk about them. Like, and these aren't finite, right? I'm not saying these are gonna be correct. It's just what's going on through my head, and maybe y'all can talk about it, have some fun with it. one is like, I know, so there's a couple key points. One, I saw in the Purple Discord that Brian Gottlieb decided to drop in the Arachne chat just randomly and was basically saying that, one, Huntsman had zero impact or like thought process when designing the set, so they aren't supporting Huntsman. Now, Huntsman may get like indirect support somehow just because of assassin cards. Like Tarantula Toxin isn't really because of the stealth, but you go, basically there could be some contract support in there, but it's probably not going to be a thing. Also, I know Josh Scott was asked like how many drinks did it take to get through the rulings on Graffin, the supposed dagger that we're getting, and his response was definitely up there, trying to think about how I can rule on something without giving anything away. So it seems like Graffin's going to be a little bit interesting in how the rulings go. But for me, with this hero specifically, let me pull up my notes so I can also read y'all's chat at the same time. Bonk. That's why I like Tarantula. Hello, it's actually scary. That's true, gone. It's a Huntsman isn't a Blitz pack Nova, but I think that's just to give like a good Blitz experience. I don't think they're doing that because it's in the set. I think it's just for the Blitz box to be able to give like a fair, balanced experience. I'm honestly surprised they didn't do solitary confinement, but it is what it is. So, one, the biggest question mark we have right now, I'm sure we'll answer at some point. Hopefully we don't have to wait a month for it. Hopefully it's in the sealed primer, but we'll see. Is if marking is remotely consistent, I'm going to read all this so I make sure I read it right. If marking is remotely consistent, which I think it has to be for this hero to function, the hero will aim to put you in a situation to let decent things, such as a 0 for 4 stealth, that go again. It'll put you in a situation where stuff that normally is below rate will now be above rate, right? These stealth attacks that are 0 for 3s, if you can mark consistently, like our Desire Body is now a 0 for 4 on hit, go again. I don't want to use black text. Don't want to use Snapdragon Sailors, Razor Reflex, none of that, right? So now you start to get these above rate attacks, right? And either you let me hit with these above rate stealth attacks now, or you let me go into a Demi that's going to potentially give me +3, right? And that sucks. Like, no one wants that. Like, if I have a 4-card hand that's like Infiltrate, a blue, and Leave No Witnesses, I don't even care what the 4th card is, being able to swing with my dagger, let's just say it marks on hit. You let it hit because you don't want to block the dagger. Then I play Infiltrate for 0 for 4 because you're marked, and on hit, go again. You don't want that to hit, right? But then you're like, I don't want you to transform, so I'm just going to let it hit. Then you let this hit, well, maybe I dagger again with a different dagger and try to mark you again. There's nothing that says we can't mark twice. Let's say I don't even do that, then I swing Leave No Witnesses for 4. If you don't let this hit and I mark, then all of a sudden I arsenal a power card like Leave No Witnesses or even another stealth, and now all of a sudden that stealth, after you just gave me a card, maybe 2 cards to block that 4-power stealth attack, now all of a sudden that next stealth or whatever I just arsenal could potentially be coming in for 7, because these +3s aren't limited to stealth cards, just the additional abilities. So you can swing Leave No Witnesses for 7 and Surgical for 7. And one of the biggest things with Assassin at some points in the game, after you've used a lot of your reaction, is like, do you have the reaction or not? And to tell people like, I always have the reaction, that's pretty powerful. So I think if marking is remotely consistent, and this is my wild, fun content creator take that, you got to have fun with, the spoiler season, I think that this is like on face the most powerful assassin if marking is consistent. If the threat of marking is consistent and consistently able to like be done through either in a weapon or cards or a mix of a weapon of a card. I don't think it's going to be just cards, because like just cards that say mark an opponent, because expending an entire card to mark your opponent is really below rate in my opinion. At least it looks like it on face. So I think it's going to be a mix of weapons and cards. We also might get assassin attacks that say, if this hits upon resolution, mark your opponent again or something like that, right? Like, or reaction that say on hit, mark your opponent, whatever the case may be. So really excited about that. Arachne's blue cards will be more useful now. No, I agree, Max, for sure. For me, the hero on face seems like it want to play more like a mid-range tempo base where you're just doing these 2-card 6s and then eventually go wide when your opponent doesn't want to interact with you. Some of the micro things alongside cards with marked, I think Arachne will have a dagger or reaction that either can give a mark on hit. I also wouldn't be surprised if we get reactions that give stealth on hit, like being able to swing a leave no witnesses, and then maybe it's a blue 0 cost block 3 that gives an attack +1 and says, if you transformed last turn, or if your opponent is marked, this attack gains stealth. I think that could be really cool. Just to give like that plus bonus, right? Like being able to attack with a leave no witnesses and then react, and your opponent's marked, and then react upon it, giving it +3 from a Demi's hero's ability, but also then using that other reaction that gives it stealth because the opponent's marked, and all of a sudden, like, imagine transforming into Arachne Black Widow, swinging with leave no witnesses for 4, discarding a card to make it 7, and then using a reaction that gives it stealth, and now all of a sudden you're banishing a card from hand and arsenal. It could be super powerful and super broken, but again, a man can dream. Let's have some fun with it. I do think the dagger will come in token rarity and non-token rarity. And the last thing I said was the dagger will have either stealth on hit or a way to be given the word stealth. Because if you notice, like, all of these say, the +3 to stealth attacks, but not attack action cards. So I think either we're going to get a dagger that has a keyword stealth on it, and I do think it will be chaos locked in terms of talent, or we're going to have reactions that give attacks stealth, because these wouldn't be worded this way if that was a thing, right? It says target assassin attack gets +3. Target assassin attack gets +3. Your next attack with stealth this turn gets +3. Not attack action card, right? They all say attack, not attack action card. So, except for Tarantula, obviously it says target dagger gets +3. So, 1 react on equipment, 1 on hero, and 1 in him makes Mark getting Bonds of Agony off a lot easier. Can probably get up to 20 now without winning the lottery. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get common equipment that breaks upon use. It says like mark a hero. I think that would make a lot of sense to me. Would not be surprised. But yeah, I threw together some cards. We have zero clue what this hero is going to run. It's just for me to have a bank of like what to have. I do think that at least on face so far, until we see what cool Chaos Majestics we got, and other reactions we got, the 3 reactions I'm looking at the most, Tarantula Toxin is auto include, it feels like. I think Razor's Edge will be pretty good if we can give attack stealth and are also attacking with a lot of cards that are stealth. Like, imagine if we can give an attack stealth and it doesn't have to be an assassin attack, and you give a CNC stealth and then you Razor's Edge it. It'd be nuts. Shred, I also think is going to be, it's always a staple, but I'm trying to look for reactions that are agnostic to keywords other than Razor's Edge, because at least Tarantula Toxin at the worst, you can buff your dagger. Shred, I think, is going to be really useful. It's going to be interesting to see if we can utilize, even like Justin Ink will probably be in there. I just have it in the sideboard, or the maybes. But it'll be interesting to see how often the spikes are used, or cut to the chase is used. The other card I'm really hoping we get some support for is Payday. We did notice that in the Hunted spoilers, they do have some contract stealth cards, right? Although they're extremely niche and specific. Hopefully we get ones that are more general, so then Payday becomes playable. Because I would love to be able to make silver. As a fresh player, the contract cards seem way too specific. Am I missing something? Not too much. It depends on the one. Like, for example, Already Dead can be more specific because it cares about non-action cards. Some heroes only run action cards pretty much, or non-attack action cards. So this card cares about instants and reactions. So not every hero runs those, but if you play a card like Annihilate the Armed, it cares about attack action cards. And a large portion of heroes, it's actually a very few, don't run attack actions. So it cares about most of what you're looking after. Slay of Scholars is a more specific one. Leave No Witnesses cares about reds. Most cards have a lot of reds in their decks. Surgical Extraction cares about blues. Most cards have blues in their decks unless you're Draconic. So it's a scale shrimp for sure. I have zero clue, Nova, and that's not even me being like, vague. I don't know. I would assume, because like, what is the weird thing to me is, let's see if I can do this without going to the wrong page. Like we're looking into this a little, right? I'm grasping here. I'm reaching for straws, but one, all 6 of these are here. We're gonna see what else we get, but as you notice, each section has a reward, and one of the rewards is silver. So if this set cares about silver at all, then I'd be interested to see how they expand on the equipment. I wouldn't be surprised if the equipment has something to do saying like say how breaking skills buffs combo cards. Maybe we'll get like a buff that helps with marked. If the hero's marked, you do X, right? That could be really cool. That also blocks. Assassin's always known for having good blocking equipment that has one-time powerful use effects. So we'll see. I'm assuming they're going to give stuff that also interacts with stealth. That would make sense to me. As you can see, but there's 2 rewards for the silver. Right? Like, let's see, is my section... my section has a redacted reward. This means Agents of Chaos. We already solved that. Yeah, I really don't know, Nova. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with it. What are your thoughts? Yeah, something that spends silver would be pretty sick. Maybe you spend silver to mark. That'd be interesting. If you can make silver somewhat, like, consistently through payday, through other means that they put in the set, maybe there's a way to spend silver to mark. Like you pay for your contract, right, to go out and do something. I think that could be really cool. I'm just really excited to see the meat so we can start building. But we're going to have to wait a whole freaking month. Because, like, my spoiler... Let's see, spoiler schedule. Yeah, week mate best is the 14th. I think all of these are the 14th of January. All of these are the 15th of January. And then all of these are the 16th of January. Which would be... a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we go into the pre-release event. So is that right? When do pre-release events start? January 4th, no, 24th. So that Friday's got to be something. But yeah, I would say for me specifically... I mean, Black Widow, I think, has the most powerful, like, game-changing effect. We have to see what traps we get for Trapdoor. I think Tarantula is super underrated, and I see a lot of people hating on it. Riptide gain no traps, and Arachne gain some of his rough. Yeah, Riptide's forever gonna... Riptide's an interesting character. I love Riptide. I played a lot of Riptide. But the trap is interesting. This allows you to have like 2-card 7s, 2-card 8s with no actual attacks, which is pretty nuts. Like if you transform into this and you have a 2-card hand with a blue and another card, whatever the case may be, being able to swing a dagger, discard a card, that dagger comes in for 4. If your opponent disrespects it and it hits, it comes in for 5. Then you can flick knives the other dagger in attack reaction step, and that'll deal 2 damage because of the extra point of damage from Tarantula. And all of a sudden, you have a 2-card 7 with no daggers. Like, at low life totals, this Demi is absolutely insanely annoying. Like, you have Graven Call and a stick, and you also can buff the dagger. So if you're running a Spider's Bite, right, like, it's just going to get really dumb. Ah, that's true. That's true, Imka. That's true. That is the weekend of the world premiere. Man, yeah, people are gonna be traveling to Prague, right? Prague is it, and going nuts. That's hilarious. Yeah, all the assassins are getting spoiled right now. Meanwhile, all the draconic people are like, mm. Yeah, when this attacks a marked hero, create a fealty token. When marked, you would think in an assassin. So like for all three of these heroes, this hero ideally wants to mark. I mean, ideally you want to mark every turn because some people are like you want to mark every other turn. I don't agree with that. I think you want to mark every turn or a threaten to mark every turn. I've been the biggest Arachne enjoyer, but basically since they came out. Yeah, same, Luis. Same. Arachne has became my favorite hero. I hated having Katsu step down, but just had to do it, you know. I'll answer that question in a second, Luis. Luis. So, where was I? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. I think you want to mark every time. Because you want to mark on the Marionette turn, obviously, right, to threaten going into an agent. But I'd also would love to mark in the agent turn because if you choose to let it hit, then you let it hit, whatever. But if you don't, if I can go back into my Marionette turn with you already marked, that's one less thing I got to do on that turn. So I wouldn't mind threatening to mark every single turn. At the very least, I think Marionette wants to be threatening to mark like every other turn, right? And then you have Syndra. I think Syndra wants to mark whenever you hit a marked hero, create a fealty token. Once per turn, pay 3. Equip up to 2 Draconic Daggers from your graveyard. This costs 1 less for each Draconic Chainlink you control. She's going to be wanting to mark pretty consistently, right? Like, unless you're running Nana of Brain with Cinderclaw, which she might, like, you're going to want to be marking a lot in order to like get those fealty tokens so you can weave things in. Maybe not every turn, but she's going to be wanting to hit a mark like every 2 to 3 turns. Fang, I think, is the least. It depends on how Fang plays. We don't know how Fang's a question mark. There's part of me that thinks Fang's just going to want to get the 3 fealty tokens and then play like super value on like having free daggers or close to free daggers. The thing about fealty, though, have we looked at fealty yet? Destroy this. The next card you play this turn is Draconic at the beginning of your end phase. If you haven't created a fealty token or played a Draconic card, destroy this. You have to keep playing Draconic cards. Got it. If you have consistent silver, then you can throw knives more, and the buff with piercing is nice. I do have my current list, Lewis. I'll pull it up. Give me 1 second. The biggest thing about Graven Call right now, Lewis, is I'm trying to explain this from a macro perspective. Arachne used to really want to have like use the flick knives interaction to really get around like reactions. We've kind of gone away from heavy reaction meta, surprisingly. Or most Arachnes have found that really you just want to utilize the dagger that cares the most about whatever you're playing against. Like if you're playing against Zen, right? You know, Zen, you would actually, I actually like using Spires Bite and Skill Peeler. I'm trying to think of it. Let me think of a good example. Trying to think of a decent example for you. Now I gotta look at the heroes because I'm gonna trying to think of like a really good example for you. Aurora. Aurora is a good example. Aurora runs a lot of attacks, right? Her armor can be decent depending on what she's doing, but for the most part, you really only ever want to use Spire's Bite in order to like make her attack actions block for less. So, you know, the 2 silver, right? Like people are starting to realize, I think, that the mask is like less and less important in some instances, and against these aggro to mid-range decks, you actually make a decent amount of silver, but really you care about buying your boots back way more in your headpiece. So instead of spending, you know, if you make 4 to 6 silver in a game, 6 to 8 silver in a game, if you're doing well, let's just say 4 to 6, instead of buying that mask back one more time, you just get Graven Call and you start getting that intrinsic value, right? And the two damage actually does matter over the course of like a 10 plus turn game, which most of the time you're doing is Arachne. 10 more damage output essentially is more important than the -1 block you may or may not get on certain things that might not even matter, right? Like if this is Scale Peeler in the Aurora matchup, Scale Peeler may never come up in the certain spot where it actually makes sense, and then that -1 value you're getting isn't worth the 5 to 10 value you got from Gravencall. It's very situational, but really you're just going, since Arachne's gone really fatiguey, even more so than it used to be, that intrinsic value from Gravencall is just more important. There are certain matchups where you will run 2 normal daggers. I like running Scale Peeler and Spider Spite into Zen because on turns where I know they want to use Traverse, being able to leave a Scale Peeler and make them block their head, like with Traverse then, and then they don't know what's coming, or they let it hit and now their Traverse blocks less when they just want to throw armor at you. I like that, but also like being able to block with Spider Spite or being able to swing a Spider Spite early in the game because it hurts their ability to block from hand and kind of play that mid-range game. So it all depends. I know it's a long-winded answer, but the value that you get from Gravencall most games, like the 5 to 10 value, if you can buy it back quick enough, is more important than that -1 block value on like 1 or 2 or 3 choice turns. That's like the best way I can describe it. We could play an Arachne game or two, to be honest. I'll use my list I'm using from the league that means nothing. Also, if you want to go check that out, first off, go check out Az's stream. Okay, see, like this is a matchup where I don't want to run Spider's Bite because Viscerai is 50-50. I'd rather run Skill Peeler. The head piece really is null and void for me. Run 65. There's nothing wrong with Skill Peeler and Spider's Bite, Lewis. It's really a personal preference. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong for doing that at all. Some people aren't on Gravencall. Some people are. Viscerai is a hard matchup. This is one of the hardest matchups. Turn you off. Let me fix. Will this work? Let's go. It actually still works even though my camera's all screwed up. I gotta change. I gotta fix my camera for the streaming one. Professional streamer here, y'all. Ignore. Okay, there we go. I think we just throw the erase face. He has too much armor up for leave no witnesses. Ooh, giving us armor right off the bat. Must have a reduce the rune chant. Sink below. Also, we have Ransom because it. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I've kind of given up the Kano, the Kano protection, but I totally get what you're saying. If you're worried about Kano and Acilio, I completely get it. Get rid of you. What's your scene? Sync amplify. It's sitting great. This is a little telegraphed, but I didn't want to double shred this Eradicate. It's not worth it. I did get my thoughts on Arachne Trapdoor, Vincent. What are they doing? My thought is I think we're going to, like, the spark notes I think you'll care about is I think we're going to get, because, like, right now we have Blood Rot Trap, Frailty Trap, and Inertia Trap, which are all kind of tech pieces, right? Like, you wouldn't mainboard those in almost every matchup. Whereas I think we're going to get trap support for Assassin in this set for sure. But I think we're going to get at least one or two sets where it's like you want to run them in almost every matchup. The weird thing about Trapdoor is, like I was telling them earlier, is, you know, if you transform into it, likely, not every situation, but it likely probably means your opponent blocked you pretty decently because they're still marked. And going to get a trap does feel pretty good, but, like, let's say I attack them and force 2 cards from their hand, and then I arsenal. And before I arsenal, I transform to Trapdoor. Arsenal, I have a pseudo 6-card hand with a trap, right? Let me think about this. I have a CNC and Arsenal. Let me think about this for 2 seconds, y'all. Let's get rid of this surgical. If they only have like a 2-card hand, you might not be able to utilize that trap very well. And I would have much rather went into a different agent where I can actually push tempo now when they're only on a 2-card hand, right? Now, there's no way we can, you know, we'll have to see. It just kind of like fights itself a little bit, if that makes sense. He's not going to have a CNC here. Oh, he is going to have one. There could be a trap that marks attacking here. I think there also could be a trap that banishes cards off top of the deck or deals damage. I would be very surprised if we don't get that. Hello, what are we doing here? I think we have to take this and then Arsenal and Race Face. Or we Arsenal the Codex. Yeah, I think we Arsenal the Codex. Are you about to Tunic Creepers me? I got rid of a Sakam. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, I think we Tunic here and Codex and CNC and then go up Arsenal the Codex. Bro, what are we doing here? Homie's taking forever all of a sudden. Saw that coming. Oh, no blue on this turn is not good. We don't want that. Well, they're set up hardcore here. No Malefics Engrave. None in... Wait, what was that? Oh, Hocus Pocus. Okay. All right, so the 3 out of 6 of their Malefics are gone. Oof. Do we just have to give this one up? What do we have in Arsenal? Codex? I mean, we gotta get rid of some cards in order to Codex properly. And then hope. I think we need to fate this and see if we can find a blue on top. Nope. Submit that. Revel. Yeah, we gotta skip these. It sucks. We honestly don't have some good options here. That's a little bit better. This isn't great at all. At all. Yeah, I think we're kind of... I mean, we could eradicate here, I guess. That's fine. Not ideal, but... nope. I don't think they're going to full block this. Unless they have a D-React. They have a D-React. Hey, when you got it, you got it. Oh, same. Oh, I don't think it's greedy, Vincent. It's excitement. You know what I mean? Good God. They got all their Malefics out. Sweet Lord. We just got to survive through these Malefics. Actually, I hate wasting a sync here, but I need to try to find a blue. That is not blue. Like, good God. Let's try to keep cards in deck here. Skip all this. They just found all their Malefics on top of the deck. Can't do nothing about it. Like, they've 1, 2, 3, 4 Malefics. 4 out of 6 of their Malefics. Yeah, they're going for a heavy, like, just trying to abuse this. All right, we got 2 silver. We have a setup, an agony play here. We might have to give up a lot of life to do it. I don't know if this is going to be worth it. You. Like, we're giving up at least 9 more here. Even more. God. Yeah, this game's over. This is why Viscera is very hard. If they find their Malefics early, you're just crying. Your only hope is to, like, try to live in the teens and then just... Because I had this happen yesterday, actually. Played against the Viscera, and they were doing this to me. They hit all 3 Revels, like, all their Malefics, and I got down to, like, 7, and they had, like, 25 cards, 20 cards left in deck, and I just killed them because they couldn't close out, and I just kept pitching and blocking and whatever, and they got me down to 2. It was 15 life to 2, but they only had 3 cards left in deck, or 4 cards left in deck. So the worst that they could do to me was threaten, like, 5, and I could block with 2 cards. All right, so we're at... He has to give me 1 more card if he wants to play around Nick. Yeah, no, Talishar, they work so hard. Them in February are just... They do so much for us as a community. People don't realize how spoiled we actually are. All right, you gave me the Succumb. Oh, definitely get rid of those Morgetides. What was his other? I forgot what his other one is. Dirge is a good one. Easy. Get rid of our surgical. We don't have a reaction for it. All right. Let's do... They still have all their Revels, which is the scary part. We got rid of their Morgetides. Got rid of a Succumb. Unless they're not running Revel. I haven't seen one yet. And we're through a large portion of their deck. We'll get rid of that Dirge. I think they're going to block this. Yep. Giving me creepers feels good. Probably should have skill peeler there, but I wanted the value. Oh, we don't have crap this turn. Okay. Okay. Let's get rid of this agony. They must have it on always hold priority. Get you. It's a power card. We'll keep that on top. It's a red, but it's a power card. We want to keep this in deck. Giving them a 5-card hand sucks, but no creepers. As long as we can avoid a nasty revel turn, we're in a decent spot. We have a good warmongers here. That's a good sign. Probably going to lead with a Room Rager Swarm, I'm assuming. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they have Revel in their deck, which is very interesting. How are you playing that, my friend? Counting's hard. We can't block this. Ugh. I kind of want to just play Warmongers on them. What do we think? What's more debilitating here? Because they're just going to give me Tunic. We're going to do it. It's probably the wrong play here. But we're going to do it. They've used a lot of their Malefics. Yeah, they chose War. Okay. And we would get a Codex when we choose. I knew it too. I should have chose Peace just to be funny. So they have to just like basically straight up play everything. Because they can't grasp here. They can't play non-attacks to get Viscerai. Force out his Tunic when he wants to use it. Maybe I get lucky and they get scared and I force out 2 cards here. Okay. Wow. That's a bad sign for them. They have a lot of D-reacts. 3 Fates, 3 Sinks. This is not a like standard list at all. We just want to do this. Keep you. I mean, sure, you're gonna do it. Yep. Just keep blocking. Here's where we use a scale peeler. Probably a D-React. Oh, it'll become the Arachne. Okay. We're crawling back. Slowly but surely. Let's try to keep every point of value we can here. Ravenous Rabble. Like, this is such an interesting... Is this like a list I'm not aware of? I don't think it is, because they're running yellow rune flashes. But, I mean, it is what it is. I'm giving up a course of tendency here. Oh, they have it. Never mind. I forgot they drew a card. No, we do not want to sync that. They probably have a D-React, but it's fine. Okay. They put it on the bottom of the deck, so I guess either way we got what we need out of it. The Blood Rots might not be as useful in this matchup. It's interesting, MK. I didn't know this was a thing. They're not going to finish on that. Let's get rid of you. You. Space Moose, what's up? How you doing, my friend? I hope the new set gives Warrior and above rate Majestic like other classes have. I feel like y'all have some pretty good Majestics. Ooh. Oh, yes. Arsenal of the Death Touch. I think we're in a good spot here, y'all. I don't see a world where they threaten our life total pretty hard. Oh, they're setting up. Okay. Sure. You got a Tunic? Fire at me, I'm assuming? Okay. Yeah. You. Whoa. No, we want to keep damage in deck. Even bigger than that, Barrow. Way back when people kept trying to put even bigger than that in Arachne, and it's fun, but it's just not as viable. It's one of those things where like you can do it, but if you're playing this hero, you gotta play for the hero's strengths. All right, definitely Blood Rot here. Often doesn't even run yellow flash as well. Buddy is playing a similar list. Okay, at least it's a normal list. That makes sense. I played about 30 matches with Arachne and 10 with Desperate Dory before realizing I like playing Fatigue. Yeah, a lot of Flesh and Blood players enjoy it. That's for sure. I was in denial. Desperate Dory is interesting. Like, I kind of gone through, like, phases with that deck where, like, I enjoy it sometimes, and then other times I'm like, why am I playing this deck? Because Arachne is a little bit more thematic, and I'm not trying to like negatively talk about Desperadori because I played the deck a lot, but there's not much of a theme to Desperadori, whereas at least with Arachne, you're kind of playing this assassin, right? Like it's a little bit different. Let's save every point of value here. Okay. We're just going to block here. No reason not to. They have 4 cards left in deck. This is where we win, folks. Yep, GG's. That's literally how the last game went when I played against Viscera. I got the break speed off of me for like 10 turns, and then they just die after that. I only threatened 67 damage, but I made it count. Probably play one more, y'all, and then I might head out. This wasn't supposed to be a long stream. It was kind of like a spur of the moment stream. We've been going for like an hour. I want to stream more. I just don't have the... I'm not going to lie to y'all. I don't have the personality for it. I get overstimulated. It's really bad. I'm probably going to make a video on all of the agents just for people who weren't in the stream. I'm not trying to dodge, but I really don't want to play new. It's just like a freaking... Here, I'll wait a second. It's just it's rough. I don't like playing Arachne and then sighing out surgicals and persuasive and bonds. Like the style Arachne list I run just gets absolutely mollywopped by new. I'm not afraid to say it. It's fine. Let's go. Trapdoor is really cool, Chris. So like I was telling people earlier, I know some people missed the start of the stream. Sorry about that. For anyone that's just joining, I will make a video on all my thoughts on each agent tonight after I get off stream. It'll come out tomorrow morning, so you can check that out. I like it. First off, the art, like non-play wise, Chris, it's sick. I love this. The art's sick. What this means, kind of like initial takes, is one, we're definitely getting trap support in this set. I don't know why we win it. I don't think they're going to just leave us with Blood Rot Trap, Frailty Trap, and Inertia Trap. Those traps are too techy. They're not super niche, but they're pretty niche, especially Blood Rot Trap. So we'll probably get more traps in the set. I hope we get a set of traps that's like mainboarded, where it's like if your opponent is marked, banish top card of their deck, something like that. Or they lose a life, whatever the heck case may be. I think that could be really cool, like give a reckless swing type effect. The one thing about this Demi that's really interesting to me is like when you become this, you may search your deck for a card, banish it face down, then shuffle. If it's a trap, you may play it until the start of your next turn. So you can play it when you're on defense. Typically, if a hero is marked and you transform, that means you didn't hit, obviously, right? Unless we have another way of doing it that we don't know yet after hitting. That means that your opponent probably blocked, whether it's all their hand, their whole hand, or maybe half their hand, whatever the case may be. Let's just say it's a normal situation where like you attack with a 0 for 4 stealth, you have no way of buffing it or shredding it, and they block with 2 cards. And then they're still marked, and you transform into a trap door. You go get Frailty Trap, whatever trap, and now you have a 5-card hand maybe with Arsenal, and then you also have the 6 card, which is the trap. If they only have 2 cards, like, yeah, you can use a trap for block value, which is really nice, but it's not like getting you that tempo you really, really, really want unless your 5-card hand is just like sick nasty, right? So I'd much rather be on turn cycles where my opponent's giving me 2 to 3 cards. I'd much rather be going into Funnel Web, Black Widow, Redback, something where I'm getting that +3. So it kind of fights in turns where it's the most useful. Not most useful. In turns where it can happen, where they're still marked, which means they gave up some of their hand to prevent the mark from hitting, you're not getting that aggressive tempo swing that you normally would get with the other agents, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think we're going to get some sick chaos traps, Chris. I agree with you. Just joined stream. Doesn't it feel like new Arachne is trying to do too much? Usually the really good decks are focused on doing one thing, doing well. I think we have to see the whole kit, Nova, for me to give you a solid answer on that. I will say I don't think it's trying to do too much. I think from a macro perspective, I said this earlier, I think that, let me go back up to this. I sent it to Reagan so I would remind myself. At least I thought I did. Or I sent it to Luke. Is like, I think that this hero is wanting to mark every other turn, and what you're trying to do is you have this like mid-range game plan where you're using these +3 buffs to have 2 card 6s if your opponent is deciding to try to mid-range with you and block some of your stealth attacks. If your opponent decides to not interact with you, then you're just getting 0 for 4 go-agains with on-hits that then go into something else. So I think this hero has a really consistent game plan. It puts people in a lose-lose situation where you're saying, if you don't interact with me, I'm going to have, my Aura Desire body is going to come in for 0 for 4 on-hit go-again. My infiltrate is going to be 0 for 4 on hit go again, so on and so forth. If you do interact with me, then I'm going to get +3 on some of my attacks and start to really threaten some high damage output. So you put this opponent into a lose-lose situation. I think that's really cool. And then I think if we can mark consistently, especially with a dagger or reactions that can mark, you start to become like really interesting in the fact of like your opponent not knowing exactly what you're going to do, which I think is the best thing about Assassin, right? I wanted an ink trap where an attacking hero gets marked. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. Just have mark going into your Marionette turn. I agree with you, Thomas. You have marking. You have stealth. There's orb thingies we don't know yet. You have contracts, dagger tech probably. Feels kind of overwhelming to fit all on deck. I think that's... See, Nova, and like I'm not saying the way you're approaching it is wrong by any means. I just think that that's like the fun part, right? Like there's going to be so many, even though this hero does seem like it just cares about marking, stealth, and consistency in those play patterns, there's going to be a lot of deck building opportunities, which I think is what they're trying to do. Brian Gottlieb came in the purple Discord and said this. Let me see if I can bring it up if y'all give me 2 seconds. From Brian? Here, I know he said the word novel in his... So Brian said at one point in the chat yesterday, in the Purple Discord and the Arachne chat, the starkest difference between amateur design and professional design is that a professional designer will find ways to deliver novel experiences with as little burden on players' cognitive load as possible. It's easier to make batshit crazy cards than ones that have predictable play patterns but have novel experiences. And I think with this, like, it's not... I think there's a lot of novel things that you can do with the deck. I think it cares about stealth. It cares about, mid-ranging out your opponent and presenting them with questions. But how you build that is up to you. So I think it's kind of a cool thing more than overwhelming. But I do understand that people approach decks in different ways. So really hope there's a card where you can flip into the agent of your choice. That would be very good, Vincent. It'd have to be a legendary, like a one-time use thing. But I agree, that'd be kind of cool. Imagine a trap where it somehow allows you to attack during your opponent's turn, allowing you to slip you on your opponent's turn. That'd be ridiculous. That'd be way too broken, Jack, but I love your energy. I do think it'd be cool to have traps that deal damage, like similar to Riptide. Yeah, exactly, Nova. It just all depends on how you approach it, but I do get it. Like, that's kind of like, there's certain heroes that are just very difficult to build, and their play patterns are very intricate, so I get it. Yeah, I do think, Chris, we're either going to get a dagger with stealth or we're going to get reactions that give cards stealth. And if I can give a Command and Conquer stealth and then give it +3, I'll never complain again. But yeah, Tarantula Toxin is a really cool card, and Arachne Tarantula in general is one of my favorite demis that I'm most excited about. But yeah, the card you're talking about is very good. Target guy gets +3. Target defending card and attack with stealth gets -3 this turn. You would think if it's a stealth card, well, no, you could just... This is just a red shred, right? Potentially as well in your deck. If your deck's built for stealth. This card, side note, that's SAS related. This card's stupid. When this attacks, if it's Draconic, it gets you go again, and the next 3 Dracon cards you play a turn costs 1 less to play. This is so good. Rising Resentment on steroids. Card's insane. This card's very good too. This card is awesome. I love this card. This card will be in my Arachne deck. You have to run this card. You have to run it out of 1 of. I might run more than 1, but you have to run it out of 1 of. Like at low life totals, like first off, this card's just fun. Like this is why you play card games, to play cards like this. I'm so happy for Brody that he got this because he deserves it. It was really, really cool. The ham sandwich, where is it? Right there. That is sick. But at low life totals, this card's hilarious because if your opponent's at like 4 or 5 life, they can't just choose 6, because if they choose 6 and you say F you, gotcha, and you choose 1, they die. So at low life totals, if you're in the life lead, you have a very good chance of getting the exact cards you want. Just wanted to float the idea of running extra traps because you can discard them anyway. Yeah, exactly. That's another thing, Simo. I agree with you. Yeah, they're assassin cards, so you can discard them. 100% agree with you. So this is love. Reagan sending me in and out thirst trap videos. Are you flicking me off? There you are. Me and Reagan especially misses in and out. We used to live in Texas, and we'll eventually go back there at some point. But living in Virginia now, she misses in and out. What's up, Goblin? How you doing, my friend? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. On the same note, you probably won't need as many attack reactions because of the discard mechanic. I agree. Like right now, this list means absolutely nothing. But right now I have Tarantula Toxin, Razor's Edge, and Shred. We're going to get reactions in the set, but we're going to have to see what they get. But right now, like cards like Cut to the Chase probably aren't going to be used. The spikes are interesting. Justin Nick, I think, is good. I think it still goes on the list. But yeah, cards that are not agnostic and only buff certain things might not be as useful in this kind of set. Who needs in and out when you have sheets? Do you have sheets? We do have sheets. I love sheets. You like sheets, don't you? You like sheets. Yeah, she likes sheets, but we had Buc-ee's CMO. I don't know if you've ever been to a Buc-ee's. I love me some sheets. I grew up 2 minutes from a sheets my entire second half of my childhood. So I love it. I love me a freaking sub toasted with some fries, but it doesn't have shit on Buc-ee's. Wawa is very good too, Thomas. So if I want a sub, I'm going to Wawa. Hands down, not close. But overall, food, Sheets is better. Just won Talasar versus Jarl. I'm yet to lose a match versus him. Yeah, Jarl's in a rough spot. We love Jarl, but Jarl's in a rough spot. Jarl's super fun, though. And there'll be a time when that hero is good. Ice has too much value. Yeah, my brother lived in Texas 18 years. He tells me about it. We're in PA now. Oh, PA, you're in the Sheets capital of the United States. That's where all the Sheets are. Nothing beats a Publix sub. Publix is very good. Have you been to Publix? They had Publix in Dallas, didn't they? They had Publix in Dallas, didn't they? I could have swore, no, that was a farmer's market, where the frick it was called. Did you have Publix in Dallas? Oh. Sorry, I can't see your face if you're shaking your head. It's funny that Victor is still the better guardian. Yeah, Victor, I think, is going to be the best guardian for a while. Yeah, he needs a little bit of love. Guardian in general is about to get a lot of love, though. Adult Valda is going to be super fun. I have my full art Earthor bounty already ready. I have it because Reagan wanted that card. She thought it was pretty. So we got it for like $5. It got decent love, Nova. I think that the sins of Oldheim probably hurt them from making You're All Too Good. Yeah, Ice is a controversial talent for sure. All right, we'll try to play one more, y'all, and then I'll probably get off after that. I gotta take my puppies out, and I gotta make this video about the freaking agents. Ooh, Ira, this matchup actually sucks, but we're gonna do it. This matchup is not fun. But we're going to do it. Let's get some good 2-for-6s in here. Well, yeah. Yeah, no, Michael. Never unban that card. Arachne Huntsman, Vincent, to my understanding, is not gaining any support. Brian Gottlieb said in the Purple Discord, and quote, he said he's not, I don't ever remember him being in there. There it is. Huntsman was never considered for the set, just didn't fit in what we were trying to deliver in limited. So I don't think they're going to... It's not that they're never going to go back to Huntsman. I just don't think they're going to. Oh, Florian, another really rough matchup. Okay, we want to go second here. Probably want to run Scale Peeler. You. Yeah. Wait, so Arachne Huntsman will get no support despite being themed around? Well, it's not really themed around them. Arachne is so to my understanding, the reason Arachne is referred to as them is because Arachne is like a multitude of things and entities and beings. So it's not one individual person. Interesting. We're not going to attack here. Arachne killed the Emperor. We presume it was Huntsman, but it wasn't. I don't think it was ever confirmed it was Huntsman specifically. Huntsman was the one that killed the Emperor. You're right. Arachne Huntsman was the one in the lore, but let's do you. This is a Millennium Tree, Florian. Very interesting. Why would... Okay. That was a dumb block. Why would you block with Grasp? Likely, yes, Nova. I think so. The Mentor is sick. The Mentor also works for any Arachne, not just Arachne Huntsman. It says Arachne Mentor, so you can run in any, to my understanding. Screw you. I didn't think I had to run AB3 in this matchup, but I guess I do. Ridiculous. We got that. Let's skip you. Not blocking with that is interesting. Let's hear you. Yeah, Lewis. Once we get more and more heroes, I agree with you. That eventually will happen. But for right now, I can safely say I've never blocked with swarming. Right? It's a little scary, ain't it? Or some of this. This is a decent. Yep, that's exactly why I didn't. Do they have 3 in there? They do. It's gonna say 4 though. I think we let this hit, which sucks. Florian's just, it's almost as bad as Enigma. I think Florian's the second worst match. I'd rather play against a Victor than a Florian, to be completely honest. Very interesting. I love when they have the recourse of tendency. Yep. That gets go again. I hate hyper banishing their earth cards, but it is what it is. Did they fat stack into me? 9, 10, 11, 12. No, they didn't. Got rid of a Looming Doom. We'll take it. Not too bad. I mean, to be fair, Bolander, no one saw Bolander. Michael Hamilton did. Like, no one really thought about that. Popping well grounded now? Interesting. I want to banish the CNC. We might as well because we're about to get in our silver here soon. And because it's Talishar. Let's have some fun. Yeah, Zen 2. Not expecting Bond Zen was a little bit interesting. But Crouching Tiger Zen could have been like super broken. So if they were spending a lot of time, you know. Made 20 more chance my first 3 turns on Viscera. Last game I played, I'm actually playing a more aggro build, so I was very confused. Yeah, Vis can do some crazy stuff. Most of the time when I play against Vis as Arachne, either I just get steamrolled or I do what I did last game, which is they just lose. They, like, hit me for a bunch, get me to, like, I don't know, like 10 life, and then they just run out of gas, and then I fatigue them. That's the other thing that normally happens. Let's do you with the Go-Agains. Yeah, I mean, LSS isn't going to catch everything. You got to give them a little bit of a break. It's a lot of things. You know, you think about it. Think if your entire, like, they're not a big company. They only got like 50 to 70 employees, which isn't a big company in terms of how much money they make. And then think about, like, all this, like, all the stuff they have to account for. Because when you test cards, you don't just test cards in that set. You test them into other heroes. You test them in limited. You have to test them in Blitz and Living Legend, even if it's not as important. It's a lot. And if you, let's say you have a 12-person testing team, which is probably more than they have, that's my guess. That's a lot. It's a lot to think about. I think you give them a little bit more grace. And I'm not like fussing at anybody by any means. Let's put you underneath. Yeah, Arachne's in old Vis, Arachne was super hard. Like, it wasn't even that big a deal. Once Vis got Malefic, it started to get a little bit difficult. We have a surgical in Arsenal. We gotta skip this. Oof, that hurts. That hurts, y'all. No. We have to do it this way. That's interesting. You too, my friend. Have a good one, brother. Relax. Enjoy yourself. I think I bought on the rebound carapace. Yeah, I did. Wow. Are they blocking 7 right now? Yeah. Oh, Obama sink below. This is a problem. You give them a felony in the crown. Not much you can do about it. They do have to give me 2 cards, but that's not that big a deal. Then they swing for 8. But you got to play to what you got to play to. Having to give me 2 cards feels good, but they could just block out here and then just hold the felony in the crown too. This matchup is pretty cursed. Giving me face purgatory here would feel really good. All right, they just gave me 2 cards. That's a good one to have here. We don't need you. Smirot. They still have their Germinates in the deck, which is just going to make us cry. Are you about to, like, make me discard a card? I mean, I'm okay with this. I mean, it sucks discarding Codex, but I'm getting rid of your headpiece and 2 cards. So I'm basically doing what I was going to do anyway. That's fine. I think they ended up worse by doing that. Yeah, his deck size is just going down, but the problem is he has Germinates. Which just makes my life hell, to be honest with you. Oh. Sorry. Didn't realize you had 2. Yeah, we need to do this. How many surgicals have we used? Just 1, right? Yeah, we need to pitch stack our surgicals hard. Hardcore parkour. In full fatigue matches, I noticed doing Remembrance for returning Codex actually pretty big brain. Yeah, Remembrance does help a lot. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Okay. This is where Graven Call helps. I mean, they can keep blocking, but this is where Graven Call helps from a damage perspective. I got to keep my damage total pretty high. I mean, my life total pretty high because his Germinates and Channel Millennium Tree is going to make it a little bit rough for me. That feels good. Okay. Did you forget you can't play defense reactions on Command and Conquer? That's pretty funny if you did. Ooh, that feels good. What was it? Oh, it was an RD react. How many D-reacts did they burn through? 1 sync? Only 1? Oof, they have 2 syncs left. And 4 rootbound carapaces left if they're running full playsets. That's a little rough. Let's keep the Bonds of Agony out of here. Gotta keep the life total high. Because we're not super high on cards either. Okay. There's Germinate. This is going to suck. A lot of life gain there. They made 14 rune chance. That hurts. Please don't block this. They probably will. If they do, they do. I could have led. I should have just skill peelered. It is what it is. We're going to die here unless we draw like 4 blues, but it's fine. Ha! We draw 4 blues. That's hilarious. That's really funny. We literally drew exactly what we needed to not just explode. Got a little lucky there. We pitch stacked that, right? Another Germinate. We love to see it. Let's do you. All right, the Haunting Rendition. This is very good for us. This is very good for us. Codex of Blood Rot. I mean, there's still a 14 rune chance, which sucks ass, but they just let it go, which I think is the best move for sure. I think we die here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can block 3, 5 of it, going to 3. Yeah, we still die here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we still die here. GG's. I mean, we got close there. Not close relatively. They had 10 cards left in deck. 2 really good Germinates. Got them there. We should, if we could have potentially banished one of the Germinates, we would have been fine. Because the rest of their deck is, yeah, they literally had only could win off Germinates. I mean, they could win off Lumen Doom too, I guess. Yeah, I could have Spell Void Mass, but I still would have died. Not much you could do about that. I think I made the right plays when I made it. The only thing I could have done better is I should have. I don't know if I would have done a whole lot, but I should have Scale Peelered instead of playing Plunder the Poor and then Codexed. That's what I should have done. We stuck with him, though. We got him close. All right, y'all. I'm going to head off. I appreciate y'all listening to me ramble. I will do a video on this for anybody that missed our discussion at the start of the stream about these spoilers. Talk about each agent, give my thoughts on it. I'll put it out tomorrow. Have some fun with it. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all are awesome. I hate that Florian is simply a better Verdansk. Yeah, Florian's pretty solid. It's a hero that definitely could be like a top hero at some point, especially if Enigma kind of goes down. But yeah. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good rest of your night. I'm going to hop off here quick, but I appreciate y'all. If you want to follow the channel, if you're not already doing it, it's awesome. If you don't want to follow me, that's also okay. I have on my homepage on YouTube, if you click like on my channel, I think it's still a thing. Let me look. My channel. I don't know if it's still on there. I'd have to view it as if it was new. It's on my home. There's one on here. I can't view it as a new person, but if you go to my page, I think if you're a new subscriber or anything like that, you can see a video where I have a list, an Excel spreadsheet list of all fab creators. It looks like this. Actually, I'll link it, and I can do that in the chat. I'm stupid. Bonk, bonk. Definitely check that out. It's a list, as you can see, of every creator, but a good amount of them. I'm still trying to add to it every time I see someone I don't know that's on there. It's categorized by the type of content it is. So if you want to watch specific types of content, it's really cool. I think it's a really good tool to utilize. So definitely check that out. Also give Fabry and Talishar some love. They're doing some really cool stuff right now with all the spoilers. So definitely give them some love as well. But thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good rest of your night, and I'll see y'all next time.